Hello, my name is Epic Bubble. I sometimes go by the name Simon, and I sometimes have things to say. Welcome to a part 2 of my thoughts on the new Lion Knight's Castle for LEGO's 90 years of play. I kind of want to do a couple of corrections and just some further explanations on some of my points and ideas. I want to say thank you so much for everyone who subscribed and followed and also gave comments. I take the time to read all of them. Very much if you disagree or if you think I'm making sense, then brilliant. I absolutely love it. I want to say a few things though, just because it helps me. Firstly, these are just my thoughts. I am just a guy that has a YouTube channel that somehow managed to do tags correctly, which allowed you to find my video. That's essentially that. I only do these videos when I think I have something to say and I think someone else would like to hear it. And I think sometimes it's important if there's a voice saying something that people don't feel comfortable with or standing out from the crowd. Not that the crowd's necessarily wrong, but I think sometimes you can be led astray or led blindly. This is also very much a video for me just to vent and put my thoughts out into a void. It's nice if I do get a response, but it's mainly just for cathartic mental help for me. And like I said, if you disagree with what I'm saying, that is perfectly fine. Like, that's what I expect. No one is going to ever think everything you say is correct. And also, if you do say something that I disagree with, like, let me know why you think the way you do, and I will 100% try and see it from your point of view. I might not necessarily change my mind, but I might think that you have some good points to say as well. So a few corrections. For some reason, I said the LEGO Ideas Home Alone set was $150. No, it's actually $250. I don't know where I got that number from. I think I was maybe looking for euros instead of dollars. Anyway, the point still stands. For $150 extra, you're only getting 500 more pieces. I understand things like inflation, the things going on in the world that make it more difficult to produce these sets. At the end of the day, it is just plastic being molded into a machine, and the only difference really is the volume of plastic that's being molded. What molds, how many molds, that kind of stuff, that it ends up, with LEGO's production, it ends up being such a fraction of a cost for them that really it's only the bulk of plastic that's being paid for. Likewise, with shipping and transport, generally from my point of view, especially with logistics and freight shipping, is when you're freight shipping in such bulk, you get a discount, obviously. And 10 LEGO Knights castle sets versus 100 Forestman sets, it's probably going to be cheaper to ship the LEGO Knights set. Diagon Alley, for some reason, I thought it came out this year. I don't know why. It actually came out in 2020. I think there's like rumors of a Diagon Alley 2 coming out this year that I may have got confused with. Maybe some people said Griswold Bank is possibly coming out this year. But anyway, I just want to make that correction that for some reason I thought it was coming out this year. I know many people asked about the Forestman picture that I linked of like where did I get those figures from. I didn't get the figures, this is on the internet, but I did make sure that the date was correct. So I said 2012 for the figures. It's actually more of an average. So some of these pieces come from the CMF series, the collectible minifigure series. The earliest one was the Ranger, I want to say, in 2010, which is the torso on the left-hand side. In 2013, you had the Pretzel Girl, and that's being used in the center. There's also that bronze scale, which is actually from the old castle line of 2000. There's also this corseted lady in a cape that came from the Kingdom's chess set, which was 2012, and that also comes with a really, really cool green wizard, which, yeah, is just grand. And then in 2016, there was a Rogue CMF series figure, which also used one of these torso pieces. the thing I want to kind of say here is, and this is kind of what I was alluding to in the video previously, is something a remake versus a reimagining? So with a lot of these Faustman figures that I'm showing, these are homages, these are nods, these are what did people imagine the Faustman to be like if they had better printing quality, or more time invested into how they looked. It wasn't just a simple direct remake in a sense, or an HD upgrade. It's how you imagine them to actually be like. And maybe I didn't convey that thought correctly, but I hope that kind of gives you some idea of what I imagine the Forest Men to be like nowadays. Also, I listed a few pictures of some other minifigures. I just want to point out where they came from. The King was from CMF 2013. The Wizard, Jest and Princess was 2014, and the Queen was from 2015. I know more effort gets put into the CMF series, obviously, because that's what the whole thing's about, is good-looking minifigures. But I disagree that there is more effort being put in with the CMF series than they are doing with other minifigure lines. For example, the latest Ninjago, Crystal something that comes out this year, has some amazing minifigures. I mean, if you look on the left-hand side, you have these incredible dual-molded leg pieces for these monsters. And if you're saying, oh, the effort's being put into the CMF series, well, no, it's being put in all over all the minifigures. It's really just how much detail you want to put in. But Ninjago is not expensive. So a torso printing for these crystal beasts is the same as a torso printing from the CMF line, is the same from a torso printing from the Lion Knight's Kingdom. So that's why the time it takes is so minuscule that I don't think it justifies the cost as to why these figures look essentially stale and boring and just look like simple HD upgrades rather than a re-envisioning of what they should look like. I want to also talk about 90 Years of Play, because there's something weird that's going on with it, and it leads into why I think the Castle set isn't selling it for me. You see, you have the new Galaxy Explorer from the space set, and this is essentially a direct remake of the old Galaxy Explorer. Same profile, same design. Essentially what has been done is they've used more modern pieces to better take over the shape, in a sense, to give it more outline, to give it more presence, to give it a bit more style and more detail. You can see things like the wing thrusters. Just have a few more pieces added to them to better emphasize what they're supposed to be. But the overall design of the ship to everything hasn't changed at all. Likewise, with the new Forestman set, you have the old version on the left-hand side, and then you have the new Gift of Sale set on the right-hand side, and you can clearly see that it's a one-to-one remake for pretty much most of it. And maybe that's the reason why they kept the Forestman style the same, is because they were basically making an HD upgrade. But when I imagine the Forestman set, I imagine something far cooler. This was the Forestman Secret In by Facebook Up. This was a Lego Ideas set that was put into place in 2021. I don't think it managed to get through revision, but you can kind of see what I mean when I say, here is the remake, the HD upgrade, versus here is the reimagining of what these sets should be. Lego Castle, I'm a bit weird as to what it's been a remake or reimagining of, because the parallels or the design choices don't seem to be that strong. In the previous video, I mentioned that maybe some of the inspiration came from 6080, and I was mainly referring to the front gatehouse, but the rest of the set doesn't really have any draw inspiration. The designer has said that they took inspiration from Black Knight's Castle, the 6086 set, and I can sort of see what they mean when it comes to maybe the Tudor housing on the right-hand side, that sort of paneling design, and maybe the fact that the castle is built on a base plate and they try to emulate that in its design. But really, it's difficult because there's no direct comparisons, unlike the other 90 years of play sets. And I think that's why it feels so different for me, is that it doesn't feel like a true remake, it doesn't feel like a true one-to-one comparison, but likewise, it doesn't feel like its own thing, it doesn't feel like it's a reimagining, it doesn't feel like it's fully capsulating the castle in the modern years, after 90 years of having castle. So, with that being said, I want to end this video more on a positive note, because I know I have read the comments, and I think some people think, do I actually like Lego? I do like Lego. I got the Lego Succulents, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I love the botanical sets. They just really are such nice display features. But I wanted to kind of show you something else that I think is really cool. The new Lego Viking ship set is brilliant. There is very few things about the set that I dislike. I love the sea serpent in this. I love the brick-built sails with the red and the white styling to it. I love that the boat is actually quite big for what it's given. And I also like the fact that the boat isn't in two big pieces. It's actually made up of a ton of smaller pieces, which I think is all just really cool things. I love the fact that it's a nod. It's, again, a remake nod to an older set, and you can see the similarities to it. I would have liked the printed shields, I'll be honest. These shields don't really work for me, but as a 3-in-1 set, there is so much value and play here. This is something that kind of happened with a lot of the older sets from the early 90s, was the fact that you used to get different builds for the sets. You could make them in different ways, and often on the times on the back of the box, there were separate pictures to show you, hey, look, you can take the set that you have and turn it into something else. And this is what I love about the 3-in-1 creative stuff, is that not only does it show you, but it gives you a guide to do so, which drastically increases the play value. And of course, the Vikings are just a cool set. You know, the other design is this wonderful Viking longhouse, and it doesn't look too dramatic. It's not bulky. It's still a small hut in a sense, but I'm tempted to get 3 sets and start building a little village out of these Viking houses. The wolf is a more silly one. I don't like the wolf. I think I can see what they're going for and using the parts, but the eyes are just weird, and it's just weird. Don't like it. The minifigures I do like. You get 3 torso printings, which are great. I wish they did the prints on the leggings. I think that would be nice. I know some people have criticized the fact that these are Hollywood Vikings because of the horns. To that I say, look, Lego is a Danish company. Denmark was part of the Viking Scandinavian territories. So it's like, it's cultural appropriation, but it's them doing it. So I think it's fine. It's what they want to go with, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, I really love the kind of Valkyrie hair piece. I think that looks great. And, you know, if you get 2 sets, you can always swap these torsos around, add maybe a different face if you wanted to. I think it's just a really, really cool set. So my closing thoughts is, I'm critical for a reason. I'm critical because I want to see improvement. I want to see design that works for me, and I don't want to be taken for a fool with the money I have. It's, again, not that I don't like Lego or hate Lego. I like Lego. It's the reason why I'm making a video about this stuff. But I also want to kind of counteract the general, or the abundance of positivity with some thought. So, in essence, if you want to get the set, absolutely go ahead, be my guest. I am not going to hold it against you. I am going to get the set eventually. That is my plan. But it's going to be when it's on sale, because saving a bit of money makes me more happy than immediately buying the set. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't remember to like and subscribe. And I will see you next time.